Who is Chester Chase? Well, he's a manly man who outmanlies other men of the manly variety. I realize that sounds like I'm overselling, but you have to understand, this guy is on a whole other level. My name is Vox, and you're listening to Not Really Radio. Today's big news is about a Chester Chase sighting in our very own little corner of the Mitten. For those of you who know Chase, he needs no introduction. For the rest of you, though, rather than spend a lot of time trying to explain who or what Chester Chase is, I put the word out, asking for Chester Chase sightings, and boy did his worldwide fan club deliver. Here are a few eyewitness accounts from the hundreds submitted of Mr. Chase's accomplishments. Well, at least the ones that were not declared top secret. The list follows. First up, Scot from Loch Ness wrote in, Chester Chase had a pet as a child. Her name was Nessie. She lives in Scotland. There's only ever been one photograph of her swimming in the loch. Well, besides the one on Chester Chase's mantle of her graduation from flight school where he taught her how to pilot a U-2 spy plane. You know what? That's an impressive feat for anybody. Next, we have Buzz, but not Lightyear from Montclair, New Jersey, who wrote, I was a part of the Apollo 11 mission. Well, that's a big deal. Chester Chase knows the recipe for Coca-Cola, all 11 of the Colonel's herbs and spices, and the secret ingredient of the Krabby Patty formula. I don't know, Buzz. Reading on, Buzz says, you may wonder how that's relevant. Well, he gave them to NASA back in 1969. It's what we used for rocket fuel, and it's the only reason we made it to the moon. I know what you're thinking, there were no Krabby Patties in 1969. It's like he's reading my mind. But Chase also knows the phone number for the TARDIS, so that takes care of that. You know what? That does take care of that. Enough said, Buzz. Thank you very much. Socrates sent us a tweet all the way from Greece, and he says, a Yeti who lived atop a mountain in the middle of Lake Michigan once insulted Chester Chase's mother. Who would do that? Chase couldn't leave such a slur unanswered but was unwilling to hurt the Yeti. Good for him. Instead, he punched the mountain, and it sank. Birds still fly around the place where it used to be, out of respect. That Yeti learned his lesson, apologized, and is now the vice president of Atlantis, which, surprisingly, is on the bottom of Lake Michigan. You know what? That's really not much of a surprise to me, because I figure there's a lot of things in the bottom of Lake Michigan. And then finally, we have someone who refers to himself as, this is a long one, the Bruno, but not the one you're thinking. We can totally talk about this Bruno. That's a mouthful. Anyway, he says Chester Chase had to fly 2 space shuttles into space, that sounds a little redundant, Bruno, to stop an asteroid from destroying Earth. I was an actor in the documentary they made about it. That documentary is called Armageddon. Everything in the documentary is true. The only difference is Chase did the whole thing alone. Hollywood added all the extra characters to make the documentary more believable. And you know what? That does sound like a Chester Chase type of a thing. So now, folks, odds are you are super impressed, as well you should be, but there is also the possibility that you're wondering, hey, Vox, why does any of this matter? That's a good question. Chester Chase is a bounty hunter who specializes in cryptids, and with things like talking fish in the news, that's the kind of guy that we want in our town. And as Providence would have it, Mr. Chase makes his home right here in Tecumseh. And that's what brings us to yesterday's Chester Chase sighting, right here in our own hometown. Agatha, an employee at the secret McDonald's here in Tecumseh, emailed me late yesterday night. And she said, quote, hey Vox, brand new listener, longtime fan, just wanted to let you know I just saw Chester Chase eat Chuck Norris's last French fry and live to tell the tale. What a man, unquote. Thanks, Agatha. And just so you know, I'm a longtime fan of yours too. Suffice it to say, Tecumseh, Chester Chase is pretty darn impressive, and we're looking forward to hearing one of his adventures at the Not Really Radio event at Covenant Church on Saturday, April 30th at 7 p.m. Details can be found online at tecumsehcove.org/NRR. Until next time, this is Vox, and you've been listening to Not Really Radio.